you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Bi-Weekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
Meeting is adjourned. No, meeting is in order.
So good evening and welcome to the Pairpoint Park Stakeholders Advisory Committee. This is the first committee meeting since we interviewed everybody and the select board implemented this. By virtue of the fact this is the first meeting, we don't have any officers, so I'll start off the meeting. One of the things we'll be doing this evening is electing a chair, vice chair, and clerk. And then once we do that, I will hand over the duties to the chair, but I thought we could go around the room first and just introduce ourselves by name. Mr. Campbell, we'll start with you.
I'm Bill Campbell. Been in Exeter a long while, been on several boards, so I'm anxious to be on this one.
Amanda?
I'm Amanda Kelly. I went to high school here and then left and came back. I have a 10-year-old, and I've been on the Facilities Advisory Committee and the Budget Committee, and now this one.
Awesome. I'm Devin Scarrett, and I use he and him pronouns. I have been in Exeter less time than the others before me. I've been here for 5 years. I have a 9-year-old and a 14-year-old in our public school systems. And that's it for now.
Then we have someone new here. Who's
Hi,
this?
Yes.
I'm Mary Teagle, and I've been here about almost 3 years. And let's see, what can I say? I live on Union Street in an old house. And where I used to live before, I was pretty active. And I've been taking my time getting active here. I have a husband, 2 grown daughters. One lives here, and a dog and a cat.
Well, welcome.
I don't know what else to say. Are there some pertinent points I'm to?
No, it's just an introduction so we can get to know everyone's name.
Okay, thank you.
And who are you?
Hi. Sorry for being late. Jen Martell. What are we saying about our just intro?
Introduce your intro.
Okay. I'm a
your
member of the
favorite pizza?
planning board. What, my favorite pizza? It's not here. Yeah, I'm a member of the planning board. I'm a professional landscape architect, which is sort of why I'm interested in this project. And I've lived in Exeter since 2015. Yeah, I just really love our downtown, and I'm excited to build a new park here.
Yeah. I'm Steve Jones. I'm a now retired physician. Been here for 25 years. All 3 children went through the public schools. You may know my wife. She is the town moderator. And I am the town not moderator. I'm on the tree committee, and on committees like this, I've held various roles for 30 years outside of Exeter.
Wonderful. I'm Ann Hohenberger, fairly new in town. I have a husband and 11 grandchildren. So I've been active with the Exeter Area Garden Club and volunteered around town doing different things, gardening, weeding. Worked with this guy.
Excellent. I'm Keith Whitehouse. I'm on the Conservation Commission. I've been in Exeter for 34 years now. My kids went through the school system, and I love this town.
Keith, do you have a particular job that you do in town?
You know, I retired 2 weeks ago,
Oh, you did? Oh my goodness!
so I'm a retiree like yourself.
Oh,
It won't last.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I am totally flat-footed.
Yeah.
Nice to have you aboard.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have tons of time to
Yeah, that's right.
commit to this.
Dave Short. I've lived in Exeter and one of its suburbs for the past 32 years or so. Kids went through the Exeter school system, same thing. I do the Swayze trustees, chair of the Conservation Commission, and just try to jump in and help out when I can.
Mr. Sharples.
Yeah, Dave Sharples, town planner. I'm not a member of the committee, but I'll be providing staff support for you.
So there are 2 other members of the committee who had conflicts this evening. Judy Rowan, who is a voting member, and Suzanne Stone, who's an alternate. The committee, as you know, are made up of 9 voting members and 2 alternates. We do have room for a third alternate, so if you know somebody that's interested, we are looking for one other person to be an alternate. In addition to Dave, Greg Bisson, the Parks and Rec director, will be staff. He had a conflict this evening with his daughter, and there will be a select board rep also assigned. That
I think what you mean is he had a conflict due to his daughter, not with his daughter?
I don't know yet. Ask me tomorrow. No, his youngest daughter was graduating from preschool. So.
Congratulations.
Yeah. What I'd like to do is I passed out the mission and the committee charge that the select board voted to put in place. I thought it would be good to review it now while we're all here. I'm happy to read it. The mission is the Exeter Pairpoint Park Stakeholders Advisory Committee is a diverse group of 9 appointed voting member residents and 3 appointed alternate member residents who will focus on formulating recommendations for the Select Board regarding transforming the property at 23 Water Street from an abandoned lot to a downtown community park. The Select Board accepted a property donation to be named Pairpoint Park, located at 23 Water Street in December 2023. The goal is to design a green space for the public to connect with nature downtown and create a space for residents and visitors to enjoy the benefits that our beloved downtown offers. The committee is advisory in nature and will report all findings and recommendations to the Select Board. The committee will determine the frequency of meeting times in conjunction with assigned town staff. The committee meetings will be held in town offices and will be recorded. The committee will be comprised of volunteers, including the 9 appointed voting members and 3 appointed alternate members, non-voting, and a representative from the Rec Advisory Board, non-voting, Historic District Commission, non-voting, Heritage Commission, non-voting, our town planner, non-voting, and a select board representative. The committee will disband upon completion of park development. The committee charge, first, is to elect a committee chair, vice chair, and clerk. We'll do that this evening. Work with the town planner, Parks and Recreation director, Recreation Advisory Board representative, Heritage Commission representative, Historic District Commission representative, and Select Board representative to review the map and specs of the property, including all inspections, and determine all permits that may be required to move forward with the park. To develop a formal public survey for community members to offer public input on park ideas or concepts. To present multiple design concepts and cost options to the Select Board for public meetings. All proposals shall follow Town of Exeter park guidelines, policies, and procedures. To investigate all sources of funding opportunities, grants, donations, funding partners, sponsorships, etc. To recommend a project timeline, including potential phases of development and construction, and to design, plan, and construct a public park that will be an integral and essential part of the Town of Exeter's downtown, enjoyed today and for future generations. So this will be an advisory committee. Committee procedures and policies will be followed. The meetings will be here in the Novak room, simply because the committee is so large. This is the best room to make us comfortable. They will be recorded on TV. Robert's rules, obviously, are to be followed. 91A, which is a right to know, which we can get into later in terms of emails and communications between members, or lack of communication between members, as it should be, outside of posted meetings. We'll walk through how to make a motion, how to second a motion, take a vote. The votes would be binding. They'd be recommendations to the Select Board. So with that, I will turn it over to the committee to nominate and vote to appoint a chair, a vice chair, and a clerk. The chair will lead and moderate the meetings, work with town staff to develop agendas. We'll record the votes. The vice chair will serve in the chair's absence, if that's the case. And the clerk's responsibility will be to take the minutes of the meeting and have them posted on the town website within 5 business days. And we can walk through all that once we've elected that. So with that, committee, you can talk amongst yourself and nominate officers.
Kick it off. I would like to nominate Steve for the chairmanship.
Second that.
Oh, my goodness.
So there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or any other nominees?
Yeah, I would like to know of my colleagues here who is interested and able to do the chair, vice chair, and clerk positions. Because I don't know any of you, and I don't know anyone's agendas. I'm not disapproving of the motion, but
Are you willing,
I'm just
Steve?
expanding. Yeah.
I am willing.
Okay, we've got a willing chair.
I hope I'm able, and I mean that. I think I am.
Do we have a willing vice?
Yes.
Is anybody else interested in that before, I guess, to answer Mary's question?
Yes. Do we have
No.
any contenders?
It's Mary, yeah, sorry.
Oh, it was Mary. Okay.
Yeah.
Brother.
We've already got one debate coming up tonight. Let's not.
So, so we have a nominee for chair. Do we have someone who's interested in vice chair?
Well,
We gotta vote on it.
procedurally, we have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
We've asked if there are any other nominations.
We're not voting this late. We're voting one at a time.
That's right.
Okay.
Is that
Very
by,
good.
so, I don't know the Robert's Rule of Order.
Yeah, call the
So
vote.
walking you through it.
Yeah.
I'll second
He's doing
his
it, yep.
nomination.
So we have a
We're
motion
thankful
by
to Nico.
Dave.
Those
a second
watching at
by
home,
Bill,
this is
And I'm asking if there are any other nominations.
And
Can I participate by seconding that, because I'm an
Actually, one, two,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, no, actually, you're going to have to withdraw your second.
Okay, somebody else left.
I'll second.
No, how many
And
of
Keith
No, there's
and
a
both
quorum.
seconded.
all right,
Okay.
and now we've
you can be
All in favor?
for original.
Oh, by the way, what constitutes a quorum?
But the
So a quorum would be five
Okay.
voting members, but Dave's right, where Judy is absent, if the committee would like, Bill as the alternate can fill in for the ninth. So if there are no objections, Bill can keep his second to the motion.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Get over that.
Sounds good.
political.
Sounds good.
And
Yeah.
now that we've had the
So
second,
motion and a second, are there any other nominations once and for all? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Chair, I now turn it over to you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Nico. So our next order of business is to discuss a vice chair. And are there any interested parties? I stand not alone.
In lieu of no one else volunteering, I'd be interested,
Very good.
but not the clerk.
Not the clerk. Well,
Well, do I have to nominate her?
We need a motion and a
well,
second.
so we have interest.
Good. I move to nominate Mary Tickle as vice chair.
Second?
Are there
Very
any
good.
other?
All in favor?
Did you want to ask if there are any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations? I think I did.
Okay,
sorry. And I saw eventually no. Any other nominations?
I would be fine with it, but I don't need to.
okay,
He's staring at me.
Keith.
I'm willing and able, but I don't need to be the vice chair. It's fine. Yeah. So if everyone's happy with Mary, that's fine.
Very good. So the motion on the floor is Mary as vice chair. All in favor, please say aye.
All right,
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Mary is our vice chair. Our next order of business is to nominate a clerk. Is there anyone?
Nico, to clarify that, the clerk won't actually be taking minutes, will they? Because aren't they recorded?
Somebody has to actually take the minutes, type them up.
But don't we have somebody already that transcribes meetings?
We have one person that handles, there's a bunch of advisory committees that we have to do, like the Sustainability Advisory Committee, their clerk has to type them up. I think we have one or two others.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, we can work through, it doesn't have to be it's not a,
Because that could be a pretty onerous job.
Well, if I may interject, I understand the requirements for minutes actually to be fairly minimal. They require who made a motion, who seconded what the vote was, and in essence, what the proposal was too. There does not need to be much more than that for minutes, for the purpose of the statute, as I understand it.
And that's one of the reasons why it's recorded on TV too, so if there's any confusion
Right.
on the minutes,
Well,
you can watch the tape.
I've always thought it was kind of redundant to have written minutes when it's recorded anyways.
It's required.
It's required. It's.
I had that argument years ago.
Yeah. It's
Short
statutorily
meeting,
required.
so that's short minutes.
All you gotta do is, you gotta record, when your minute taker, the template is, who's there? You write whoever's present, and then,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and then any staff present, like members present, staff present, any motions made, and a general statement about the discussion. You could say, discuss Pairpoint Park, you know, and then when the meeting adjourned, you call it, you know, put the
Right.
time, the meeting adjourned, and that's it. It can be very one page.
Right, and it is statutorily required, so we have to have someone who records.
Right.
A clerk or a secretary. Back to the issue at hand. Is there anyone who is interested in being, a secretary? Not interested in.
I've done it so many times that I just feel like, as a woman, I feel like we mostly get looked at, and so I tend to feel very almost political about not volunteering for it, because just the history is there, and so all of us women, I just sort of feel like that's something we should speak up about more often. So
Cheers.
I would say no to that, please.
Okay. Very good.
I said please.
Oh, there's,
Nico's laughing at me.
is there anyone else? Yes?
I nominate Ann if she,
Well, no, I feel the same way she does.
I can't even spell minutes. Not the minutes.
Since you discussed it, you want to do that? It can be simple.
I am not the most organized person when it comes to that sort of thing. But I guess to Amanda's point, I'll bite the bullet for now. Give it a try, and if something somewhat legible is produced, then we'll continue.
Good. Do you want to nominate him?
I nominate Brother Dave
I'll
for
second.
the secretary.
You're gonna pay for this?
I second. Thank you, Dave.
So the motion is to nominate Dave Short as chair. I hear a second.
Clerk.
Clerk.
Clerk. Pardon me. It's sanding all day. I'm tired. As clerk, and I heard a second.
Feel free to vote no.
Yeah, you seconded.
Yep.
I seconded it. Yeah,
Oh, you seconded, yeah.
with a thank you.
Mary, thank you for being vice chair, or volunteering to be vice chair. David, thank you for being a clerk. We have some minutes to record. If you need some
You didn't
paper.
watch it on.
I brought some.
I got tonight's minutes.
You got tonight's minutes?
I got it.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
That's good, then we'll have to
Thank
play.
you.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
That's huge. That's
Not to rain on your guys' parade, but you're having some problems back there. Another member of your committee is on Zoom right now, Suzanne. So she hopefully can hear us.
Suzanne,
I can hear you.
can you hear us?
I can hear you. Sorry, guys.
Well, welcome, Suzanne. Can you introduce yourself, please? This is Steve Jones.
Hey, Steve. My name's Suzanne Stone. I live in Exeter. I've lived here for 23 years, and I'm not in Exeter right now. That's why I'm calling. But I own a company called the Stem and Pedal. It's a landscaping company, and I've done it for 21 years, and here I am.
Very good. Did you hear the rest of the introductions?
I didn't, but I looked at the names, and I know many of you.
And thank you for not making us reintroduce ourselves.
No, don't. I mean, I know Dave and Keith, and I know Mary, and yeah, so.
And Devin,
I don't know. I don't think I know Devin. I'm trying to.
My name is Devin. I feel like I should reintroduce myself now that everybody else went. I've lived in Exeter for 5 years. I have 2 school-age children now. Professionally, I am an educator and a facilitator. And so part of my interest is in community-based and participatory design projects. So I'm not a landscape architect and I'm not a big D designer, but I like to think that I help design how people interact.
Nice to meet you, Devin.
Yep.
And Anne, I think the one person you didn't mention was Anne.
I don't think I've met you. I'm Ann Hohenberger. I haven't been here that long. I followed my daughter and her family from Virginia, where I gardened a lot with the Garden Club of Virginia. And I'm with the Exeter Area Garden Club now and watching grandchildren.
Nice. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, welcome here, Suzanne.
Thanks. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Nico, I'm going to ask you for next items on the agenda that you may have.
Sure. Dave, as lead town staff, is going to walk through his role in communicating via email, and he'll touch upon just some general 91A issues that we want to avoid.
Yeah, so we're governed by RSA 91A, which governs public bodies, which you now are. And so there are certain requirements, and anytime there's a quorum present, you need to have it posted. You need to post the meeting 24 hours in advance. So the chair usually works on the agenda, gets it to Pam or something to post the agenda. So you got to post, you can't meet without posting it in 2 public places 24 hours ahead of time. When you're there, you got to limit all your discussion. The biggest thing is limit all your discussion at a meeting, at a posted meeting. You cannot have a quorum, 5 of you can't be down at Shooters or something like that talking about this project. It just, you can't, you're not allowed to do it. If you have a quorum and you're talking about anything that's under your purview or under your committee charge, you have to be at a posted meeting. So, a couple people can get together and talk, but then it's also the chain of discussion. Like if Dave emails Keith and then Keith emails 3 other people, then all of a sudden it is a quorum and it needs to be posted, and you can't post emails. So it's best to I'll send out emails, if someone says something like that, but sometimes I'll just say, just reply, don't reply to all. Don't get into a discussion in email. Keep that discussion for when you're at the meeting.
And you can forward topics of discussion to me to place on the agenda, and I will place them on the agenda.
Yeah, you can email everyone and say, I suggest this. It's just the discussion. When you start discussing it, that's when it gets, that's when it starts violating 91A.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure, and I'll stay on that and guide you guys through it. And I'll get a template for you so you can just fill it in.
Like a coloring book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a coloring book.
Thanks.
Members present, and you can just write who's present. Or actually, we'll put everybody, and you can cross out who's not there. So I'll make it easy on you.
All right.
So the key to remember is just don't reply to all.
Yeah, don't reply to all.
Yeah.
And don't talk, if you all go out after a meeting, don't talk about anything under your committee charge. As a quorum.
Right.
Yes. I looked at the materials that the Pam provided, and I did have a question about the rules and site visits. So we may segue to the site at some point, or we may have a special occasion where we meet on site. So could you give us some guidance on that, please?
Yeah, it's a meeting, and you post it, and you have to post the time and the location of the meeting. So this meeting's posted in the NOAC room at whatever you guys decide to meet on the day. If you're meeting there, you post it there. If you want to meet here first and then go there, you post it. Say you meet at 7 here, you post a meeting at 7, and then you post a meeting over there at 7:30.
So we can't go there tonight, Dave?
Twice, huh?
We can't go there tonight? Is everybody here been there?
Yeah.
I've peeked through the fence.
But have you stood on the land?
No.
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 No, I have not.
Okay, we should probably
I would
start with
advise-
that.
Yeah, probably, maybe, but I would probably advise against that, because if the public thinks that, you're going, they might want to participate. But if you just decide it right now and head over, the public doesn't have an opportunity. They haven't been noticed to participate.
Next time.
But it might be an awesome agenda item for the next.
But
Absolutely.
we're talking about something that half the people here haven't seen.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you should definitely see it.
Yep.
Let's go.
It's keeping the public informed.
Yeah, I think we'll have to
We
make
could
it for
schedule a
next
time to go like tomorrow or
Yep.
whenever, maybe when Suzanne comes back, is back
The
in
purpose
town.
of this evening's meeting
Yeah.
was to get organized. Done that, you've elected your chair, your vice chair, your clerk, we've gone over the mission and the charge, we're going over some of the laws, the procedures. We're gonna go over meeting times, because you need to set those up on a monthly basis, and then, after that, the chair can set the agenda as to how you want to do it. But that was the purpose of this evening's meeting, was more administrative in nature for everybody to meet each other, organize, go over the charge, ask questions of staff, and then move forward.
I suggest that our next order of business is to decide when our next meeting is and how frequently we should have meetings.
Yeah, I would suggest if you go, you should pick a standard day, because we got a ton of committees and night meetings, and I have a lot of them, so it's best to pick the first Wednesday of the month or the second Thursday of the month, some set day, so you can look at the calendar and know, map it out to every meeting that's going to be for a year. I wouldn't advise getting together every meeting and say, when are we going to be available
Right.
next? And having that can get squirrely. That gets hard to
Well,
keep
how
track.
is, the planning board meets how often on Thursday?
Planning board meets second and fourth Thursday every month.
So first and third would be available.
First and third's
I have
available.
the available times, Mr. Chair, if you'd like to hear them.
Yes.
So we have the first Wednesday of every month between 5 and 6 p.m. The second Wednesday of every month from 6 p.m. And then the first and third Thursday between 5 and 6 p.m.
Can you read those again? I'm
Of course.
sorry.
The first Wednesday of every month from 5 to 6 p.m. The second Wednesday of every month from 6 p.m. on. The first and third Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m.
Can I ask what those times are?
Those are potential times for the committee to decide when they want
Oh,
on a monthly basis.
gotcha.
And if we as a committee decide that Zoom meetings are appropriate, is that an option?
No.
It's just absolutely
Not
not
in New
an
Hampshire.
option.
You can, as long as if you have a physical quorum present, then other members can join virtually.
We
As
can.
long as it's impractical for them to be here. So Suzanne, it's impractical for her because she's not in town. You have to have a reason. You're sick,
Yeah.
you gotta take care of your, whatever, your child. You have to have a reason, you can't get here for a reason, and you have to state it to join electronically.
You'll have work conflict occasionally, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in family, I have a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old
Yeah.
a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old, and they,
But
You can
5
join
to
as
6
long
is
as-
constantly
yeah.
booked, and that's
But if
like
the
all the
quorum-
meeting times.
If the quorum,
If
Somebody proposed date.
then you can hold the meeting.
then we could
and you have the meeting.
accommodate Jen having occasional.
She can come in virtually.
We could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could just, on a case-by-case basis.
Are the members who join on Zoom allowed to vote?
Yes.
Yes.
As long as there's physically
A quorum
Five.
here.
For physically a quorum, yeah.
However, for the chair to know, if you do have folks on Zoom that are voting members, all votes have to be taken via roll call
Okay.
rather than all those in favor. And that's New Hampshire, that's not Exeter, that's New Hampshire.
And you gotta say whether you're alone or, and all that sort of stuff too. Yeah.
If I can say with regard to the times, the Thursdays are better for me. I can make the Wednesdays happen if I need to.
I was going to say almost the exact same thing. Thursdays are better for
Thursdays are
me.
good for me.
Thursday's good for me.
Same.
And then I guess it's the question of do we want 1 or 2?
Well, that makes me think, related to our charge, I know we're supposed to figure out a timeline, but instead of saying we're going to meet once a month for however long it takes, is there anything driving the date by which we need to be done? Right? Obviously, if you tell me I got to get something done next week, I got to put in a ton of time to get it done next week. You tell me it needs to get done 5 years from now. Oh, I can.
Well, I think that raises a big question about whether or not we're going to attempt to fund this thing privately through donations of materials, funds, labor, that sort of thing, or are we going to go the route of trying to use taxpayer dollars? Because that's a much longer process. And, you know, my interest had always been, because I thought it'd be kind of a challenge, would be to try to do it with as few tax dollars as possible. And I think it would be appreciated. But if we go the Warren article, needing to raise money, all that sort of thing, study the thing to death, it's going to be a multi-year project. So.
Would it make sense to hold it until we've decided a little bit about the scope of this thing? And that would maybe, whether it's going to be a $5,000 project or a $50,000 project.
Oh, they're all tied together.
$5.
One person at a time. Let's hear you, Dave, and then we'll hear you, Suzanne.
I think those are important. That's going to be a real driving factor in kind of going back to your point about the urgency of our mission. How much? What do we want to? How do we want to accomplish it? And when do we want to accomplish it by?
And just know some of my intention was trying to figure out, were there any dynamics or constraints impacting the project that I didn't know about, like some funding deadline that we have to achieve by X date. But I'm sorry, Suzanne, you have been waiting patiently.
No, I think maybe it might be apropos for us to discuss from the landscaping professional and the landscaping designer professional point of view, what they think something like this might cost if you were going to pay for it. And so people have a kind of an idea of what this thing looks like from a financial standpoint.
Did we ever set on a date?
Nope.
A time? Maybe we should do that.
Well, again, yeah, sorry.
So I think that the sense is that we have an open timeline, and that the urgency is ours to determine. And we can suggest, and this is an advisory committee, and that's what we will do. And we can suggest more urgent, less urgent, in the middle. Sure. Nico,
I think that's the point.
And just to add, if you pick maybe what you were asking about timeline, I would suggest picking a third Thursday at 5:00. That's when everyone can agree to in the future. If you need to meet more often, say you're like, I got to meet a couple of times, you can say that at one of the Thursday meetings and say, I'm going to call a meeting 2 weeks from today or next Thursday, and then get the agenda and post it. It's not like you have to just stick to that date. You can have other meetings, but it's good to have one set meeting a month where so people can put it on their calendar and be available.
Right.
I move, as the chair, that we meet next on July 18 at 5:30 p.m.
I'll second.
Starting at the site, and then adjourning and returning to the Novak room for discussion. So that's a complex motion, but...
Can I just,
yes.
I'm sorry.
Third.
So the third Thursdays of every month, this room's available from 5 to 6 p.m.
You want 5
So I
o'clock?
think if you're going to do a site walk, what you could do is start here to do your administrative business and then move the site walk afterwards so that the next.
Okay.
Yeah, you can put it on the agenda. You don't have to double post. You could post it here, you meet here, put it on the agenda, site walk of 23 Water Street, and then head over, 'cause it's known, it's posted, you know you're going over there, and then come back.
So moved. Discussion.
Just a point of clarification. Do we have to make a motion for setting the?
No.
No, I don't think we do.
The chair, you call the meetings. You can call the meetings.
Yeah, so if we want to agree to third Thursday, you don't need a motion for it, just to.
Yeah, you can just,
You're on, yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
you don't even need a consensus. You
Yeah,
can just
we can all
call.
talk about it, right?
Talk about it.
Right, so
The point was-
I think that's a great time, third Thursday, 5 to 6.
I would pose that it might be more effective for us to do a site visit earlier, like within the next week or two, just so that we can come back to the next meeting with some thoughts formed in our heads. We have some time afterwards to marinate on it. And it's not like, oh, we're just seeing it and now we got to figure out what the discussion is going to be.
But going forward, do we think third Thursdays is a general good
Oh, yeah, I'm
standing
fine with
meeting
that.
time? Let's finish that one.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I was just responding to his motion about
Yeah.
having the meeting on the 18th and then
We can-
in addition to the site walk.
We can do that. I cannot be there. I'm gone for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So I can.
And I also
Just make-
have something to say about that, too. My profession is architecture and planning. That's what I did professionally before I moved here. And I'm way into precedent and getting what knowledge we already have. So this may be out of order, I'm sorry. I'd like to know what you know already about the site, and for whoever knows it to present that to us. That would be more appropriate in this setting. And what you know and what you suspect are sources of funding besides taxing, whether there's some state grants or NGO grants or federal grants or whatever. And I would like to start with
I think
a
the
good
first,
list of our resources.
I think the first step is to go back to what Keith said and what Jen was saying, and everybody should get their eyes on the site first. Familiarize yourselves, people who aren't familiar with it, what it actually looks like, what's down there, and then start asking those questions.
Well, I think we could do both.
Come on in,
I mean,
Judy.
let's ask those questions. Maybe we can ask Mr. Sharples for the next meeting to prepare a summary of what resources the town has with information on the site
Well, yeah,
that we can review at the next meeting, and we can also do a site visit.
Yeah, the reason I
Mr.
said
returned.
that is that, well, I have seen the site. I've studied it a couple times in different weather, different times of day. I've not been on it because of the fence. From across the fence, from across the river, from upriver and downriver. And when we go to the site, we'll probably have a whole bunch of questions. And this is just my thinking, that if we have the answers to some of those questions before we go there, we'll probably develop deeper, more complex questions, and we will go armed with whatever. There's a foundation, is there toxic waste? There's a whole bunch of things that I personally would like to know. And I think it's great to get on site. I mean, this is real. I agree with you on that.
Is it possible for the town, whoever that might be, to prepare a package for us to consume before the next meeting and be prepared at the meeting with what information the town has about the site? It may be a paragraph, it may be a page, it may be 5 pages, but is it possible for someone to prepare what the town knows?
We have a phase 1 environmental assessment that was done on it.
And you have a survey, correct?
The survey you said?
I don't possess that. That was done by the prior owner.
Can we, I mean,
No, I think
Maybe I can try.
I think we have it, don't we?
Well, there's a tax lot.
I thought there was.
We have
I remember
tax
seeing a
information,
plan with the
GIS.
serpentine.
Yeah.
There was a serpentine
No,
thing.
but I-
And then Emmanuel did the survey. But I don't think I have it, but if someone else has it, great.
If we could zoom out, how long would it take to collect? And maybe we actually, it sounds like people have enough expert knowledge that they can suggest the kinds of things we might be looking for. And then we need to ask, how long would it take for us to get that? And maybe that takes so long, the easy stuff we can get first by another meeting. But I don't want to overburden administratively by continuing to make ask and ask and ask and ask and ask.
I gave you that phase 1 assessment in about 6 seconds.
Okay.
Hit send. I mean, that tells you, it tells you about the site, it tells you about the history of the site, the uses that have been in the past, the buildings that were on it, what the use was, commercial, and then a residential was added, and then the fire, and, so it pretty much tells you basically what, the size of it.
Yeah, that's been
It
pretty.
tells you all the details. What it doesn't tell you is what's under there right now, and we don't know that.
So that's what the town knows. But it'd be good to have that.
Yep. I'll email
Be great.
it out tomorrow to everyone.
No, I've already got it.
Yeah, you got it. You emailed it to me. So
It's
Well, I'll withdraw my
fascinating.
request, given that that's what you know, and it's not a lot. But I would like to request that we have an outline for proceeding to gather information and look at precedents for pocket parks, maybe a couple of other things, before we jump in with, we should do this and we should do that, because it's not a blank palette, but it's pretty close to it. Anyway.
I'm down. That makes sense to me. And it's like a discovery phase. That's kind of what we're talking about, right? So in the discovery phase, to try to shape our initial understanding. So I think that seems really reasonable.
So,
And Mr. Chair, part of the charge too, remember, is for the committee to work on a survey to the community as to what the community's desires are.
Yes. Frankly, I think we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. That we have a discovery phase to go through, and then we'll get to a survey phase. And that in our discovery phase, we will visit a site. We will ask a lot of questions about what we know. We will ask questions about what we need to know. And we'll try to gather information. After that is over, then there will be a subsequent phase to ask the community their interests after we're done with our discovery. I think simultaneously, there will be a funding phase. So things will not be sequential, but they will be simultaneous. So I think while we're doing one, we'll be doing the other. Does that sound like a reasonable approach?
It does, although I would like to know if you've identified any potential funding sources at some point fairly early. In the discovery phase, I would like to know that. Because it's iterative, the idea, the implementation, the costs, the estimate, and then it gets more refined as time goes on.
that is one of the committee's charge, to pursue different funding grants, find out about those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Potential committee assignments.
Money.
And then what else, like, what do you want to know about the site, I guess? I'm just, what information are you looking for?
I would like to know which regulatory agencies have a say in it, because it adjoins a body of water. So are there any state rules with respect to the treatment of?
Nope.
Really?
Are there any grandfather?
We got an urbanized exemption from shoreland, so we're not shoreland. There are no jurisdictional wetlands on the site, so there is no state permits required for a park.
Are
Maybe if you're going to put a scrubber in there or something like that.
Right, but
but
is it clear how close to the river that lot ends?
it goes to
It's,
the river.
it's basically right on it.
The stone wall is,
Yeah, the wall, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's breached the wall during flooding, and it has come up, 10, 15 feet onto the site.
It's a shorter wall, isn't it?
Since the day
60
out?
off the ground. It's like a wall, then you'll see it, a wall, then it goes down, and then there's riverbank, like planted
The
riverbank.
land
It's
is
like-
slanted downward.
Yeah, and it slants down to the, actual water right now, fluctuates.
But
Did
that's a
that
good
flooding
question.
occur pre or post the dam being removed?
I that's what I was thinking of, because
Just
I got to go back to Doug. I think it was post?
Okay.
No,
post?
I mean pre. I'm
Okay,
sorry,
that would
pre.
make
I think it was pre. Pre, because that makes sense, because the dam was right up there and
Yes.
kind of, might square it away. But let me ask, because I was with Doug and Kristen, and they both were familiar with how high it got and showed me where it was. So, just to know, and another thing, I'll tell you right now, because outside the environmental assessment, I do know that there was a fire, that the place burned down. And then DPW was there the night of the fire. The fire department was there. They were containing the fire. DPW brought an excavator down and started scooping up debris, putting it in trucks, their trucks, and taking it to the Kingston Road transfer station, the Crossroads transfer station. At that time, I think it was a dump. It was not a transfer station. They deposited there. But Jay Perkins was actually, I think, was the one on the excavator, and he said he remembers he just cleaned it up a little bit, and there was still a lot of burnt stuff, and he smashed it down with his excavator as best as he could, and then they smoothed it over, and someone threw some fill on it, and that's the way it sits. So underneath, there is a stone foundation that you'll see, part of it. Half of it's kind of fallen over on the side. There's a stone foundation. It looks like it keeps going under the debris, and there's burnt material under there.
What was there before the church?
I don't know, that's in the environmental assessment report.
I think it's
Jewelry store.
When it burned down, it was a jewelry store.
It was a jewelry store.
Shoe store.
Church was
So we want to be there when they do
across from the
that.
post office.
wrong place.
Yeah.
Jewelry store, I remember that.
are there any historical or archaeological mandates?
Thank you.
Section 106 doesn't, is not going to apply. I mean, we can do a heritage, check and see if there's, I doubt there's any rare species out
Right,
there.
or
I mean,
arrow.
along any river, it's going to hit, possible Native American, artifacts.
Right.
I mean, you're always going to get that in a major river like this, like the Swampscott. But, I think it's up to the individual contractor. There's no requirements to do any, because there's no federal funding at this point. I mean, there's federal grant funding, then, okay, there's a little bit more of investigation necessary, but you don't need to do any investigation if you did private funding or town funding.
Has anybody ever asked Barbara Lukunis whether there was anything there?
For those who are not aware,
1638 or before?
Barbara Rancunis is the historian in town.
Right?
Yes, so she works at the Historical Society. And
The question?
Interesting to know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, agreed.
so, as I guess,
Suzanne was asking questions.
Suzanne?
I didn't hear the question. I couldn't hear Bill's question.
I wanted to know whether Barbara Lukunis, who's the, excuse me, the historian of the town, really,
Yeah.
knew of any specific things that were there before the jewelry store and before things, say in the
Yeah, no. Yeah, good question. Yeah.
century, 19th century.
So, yes? Did you have something to say? No. Okay. Did you have something further?
No, although it'd be fun to have Barbara or anybody else in the know present to us
Yes,
at
great.
some point.
So, I am sensing a developing agenda for next meeting, which is that we meet here and review an assessment. That we also review, I'll ask Barbara Kunis if she can produce anything. If she can, she can, she can't, she can't. And is there someone who has access to a survey?
I believe I have seen the survey because we were trying to figure out the corners next to the building next door, the Chocolatier. And I believe we had a survey that showed those corners. the property corner.
Yeah, I've seen it.
there was
Oh,
that-
wait a minute.
I thought I emailed it.
I do have it.
Yeah.
That's right, I do have it. Yeah, I got it as a PDF.
Because we had
Yeah.
that, because we had that discussion before.
Yep.
Yeah.
And is there any other,
So I'll send that out.
at least initial,
Yeah, are there
Material.
specific Parks and Rec guidelines that aren't just posted on the website that maybe Greg can send us if there's some sort of document? We can ask Greg for that. I don't mind emailing him if that's helpful, Dave.
Yeah.
Yep.
Email
If it's
Greg.
not on the, if it's not just something that's simple, then we'd probably want a copy of that.
And did anyone have a group email yet? Because I don't have your folks' email. I'm gonna,
Pam sent out a group email,
she did.
yes.
I'll talk to Pam then and get that and attach myself to it. Because I don't think, maybe I got it. If I was on it, then I'll just respond to all and get you the survey and the phase one assessment.
Hey, can we nail the regular meeting, and then I'm sure drooling over Keith's idea, to go on the site at the next meeting.
Yes.
I'd really like to do that.
I would recommend that we review any material, ask any questions, and then go on site next meeting.
I agree.
Bring your umbrella, just in case.
The 18th from 5 to 6, and then we segue?
Yes. Yeah.
And then just one more thing, like, if you have any questions on anything I send out, or you can ask me anything, like all the time. There's no 91A with me. So use me as a resource, you can call and ask me any questions you want.
Thank you.
And so are we settled on the third Thursdays?
Goodwill.
Or not?
So
Okay.
I recommended July 18th, which is a third
Yep.
Thursday at 5:30 here. 5 o'clock, so 5 o'clock, sorry, here, and then we can segue to the park. Yes.
So,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, if I may, if you send Pam McElroy, Town Manager's office, she can put on the schedule, she'll actually post the meetings the third Thursday of every month.
Okay.
And that way they're posted, and then all you'll have to do is, within 24 hours of each respective meeting, get her an agenda. But if you agree on the third Thursday, she can post it right through the year.
I love this plan.
And you don't need 24 hours to cancel, so let's just say the third Thursday in October, either you don't have a quorum, or for whatever reason you don't want it, you can't meet.
There's a
You can
natural
cancel it
disaster.
right up to the minute
Yeah,
of the-
there's
Yeah.
a natural disaster, something happens.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Shush, shush, shush. Natural disaster.
Having lived through a recent natural disaster in southern Maine, it's quite possible at any moment. That is
Yeah.
the current environment in which we live, unfortunately.
I have a question about I understand pretty much the public meeting law and time, date, place. Are we also required to post the agenda as we know it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it's up to you to call the deadline on agenda requests. Okay.
Somebody needs to write up some minutes.
We covered that.
We have daring dashing
In the last 5 minutes, if we could have an introduction from you.
I'm sorry for lateness. I've been trying to get here since yesterday. Judy Rowan. I'm an enthusiastic gardener and world traveler, I guess.
You're a voting member of this community.
Pardon?
You're a voting member of this committee.
Yeah, thank you.
And she's a longtime member of the Budget Committee.
Long-term member of the Budget Committee.
She's been on a lot of committees in town. She knows a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
We didn't give her any chance to express an interest in the clerk.
Oh.
Pardon?
You want to be clear?
yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
So,
Is making a
Mr. Short made reference to the clerk and who might be interested in being the clerk. You came in after. Okay. I think we have a lack of interest.
It didn't work out.
No, it didn't work.
Good try, Dave.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the last shot.
Admirable.
So you need someone to take minutes?
We're good.
Oh, we've got a good one.
All right.
With that, I'm going to recommend that we adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Yes.
Second.
We are adjourned.
Do we have to vote on that?
Oh, do we have to vote?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. Robert's rules per se is that the chair can say, if there's a motion, you just adjourn.
Oh, great.
You don't
You
need a
can.
motion. Yeah.
And then when you adjourn, hit the hammer.
Thank you all very
for
much.
tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.